Carolina, you've had a week to prepare for them. What are you expecting from them tomorrow?
Well, the week that we had to prepare has nothing to do with what I'm expecting from North Carolina. What I'm expecting from North Carolina is the same thing I've expected every time we have played them. In fact, every time I've watched them play for the last 50-odd years, is they're going to try to outrun the opponent. They're going to try to score in the first 5 seconds of the possession. They're the best team in the country in scoring of what we call the 5-second layup or three. The second thing is they're a tremendous offensive rebounding team and have always been. They're a great two-point shooting team, and they have a number of guys who are also outstanding at shooting the three. They have the preseason Conference Player of the Year and a National Player of the Year contender. Roy Williams is a Hall of Fame coach, and we'll have our hands filled tomorrow at noon.
When you have a team that likes that up-tempo so much and you only have 7 guys, what can you do to compensate for that?
I was going to request more timeouts, but that's fallen on deaf ears.
You're supposed to find out, I think, about DeJuan today. Are you expecting to know that today?
I am, yeah, but I could have said that yesterday, the day before, and the month before, and 2 months. This thing started in November. We're talking all of November, all of December now, 18 days in January. So hopefully at some point we'll get good news.
How big of a boost would that be, especially in a game like this tomorrow?
Well, it's not about one game. It's really about a young man's future. Here's a young man who's on time for graduation. He completes this year. He's only 1 year away from earning his degree from the University of Miami. That would create a tremendous opportunity for him after his playing days are over, which I'm sure he'll play for a number of years. But he wants to be a coach, a college coach. This would give him that opportunity if he earns his degree. But if you take away his basketball career, a lot of these kids are highly motivated by the opportunity to play college basketball with the dream of one day being able to make basketball a profession. And DeJuan has had this dream probably his whole life since he started playing the basketball in the 8th grade. And he earned tremendous respect in high school by leading his team to 3 state championships. He earned a McDonald's All-American recognition, and he chose the local school to pursue his career. And he's a tremendous part of our program, one of the nicest human beings you ever want to be around. And he got duped by his AAU coach. I don't know if you guys know, the guy named Jordan Fair is the one who created this problem. He was his AAU coach in high school. And he was an assistant coach at the University of Louisville at the time. So here, not just an AAU coach, but a competitor of ours is talking to one of our players. From what I understand, that's inappropriate as it is, talking to players who play for another college.
You talk about how he's handled it. I mean, I saw that he.
Oh, he's handled it
he drove to Tallahassee
with.
for your game.
Yeah, he is so team oriented and cares so much about his teammates. He's been on the bench at every home game cheering like crazy. He's been at every practice that he's been allowed to practice and working his tail off, hoping for the day when he gets the green light to play college basketball again. He jumped in the car with a friend of his to drive all the way to Tallahassee at his own expense. The only thing he was allowed to do in Tallahassee is sit on our bench and cheer for his teammates, which he did. But he had to make his own way there, pay for his food, his hotel, or I don't know, even stayed at a hotel. I think he stayed at a friend's place, and then get back on his own. So he's made a lot of sacrifices. He deserves to be back playing.
If he were to get the green light in the next few hours, how much would he be in position to contribute tomorrow?
Well, he certainly would play and play a lot. I mean, that's, I tell the players all the time, it's not about playing time, it's about playing well. So he'd have to play well. But he's certainly a terrific player, and I would expect, other than the emotions he would feel, that he'd be able to come right in and contribute mightily. If he's so emotional with being given that opportunity, we'd have to take that in consideration about what's going on in the game. Because the most important thing once the game begins is to do our best to win the game, no matter what players deserve to be out there.
What's his role been in practice?
He's had two different roles. One, he's been on the scout team and been the opponent, preparing like he was part of the Carolina preparation. But I've also kept him with the white team so that for the last month or so, it felt like, okay, the day is coming where he's going to be given the permission to play again, and we don't want him to be far behind. So he's bounced back and forth between the starting unit and the scout team.
Kind of going back to North Carolina, their tempo. You've obviously dealt with, you've faced them, like you said, over the years. What's kind of been the key for you guys in those games that you've had success?
Well, a coaching friend of mine once told me that the key to winning on the road is, number one, you have to have the better team. Number two, you have to play really well that day. And number three, you've got to hope that the officiating creates a level playing field, that the home court doesn't give them a tremendous advantage there. I think that's true home or away. I think you've got to play really, really well. I think you've got to execute the game plan better than they execute their game plan. And the success that we've enjoyed, whether it's against Carolina or any other opponent, is because we have good players who played well that day. And you can look at the game against Wake Forest the other day where we go, Chris Likes goes 14 for 14 from the foul line. Whereas against NC State, our team went like 16 for 29 from the foul line. Sometimes it's just a matter of you got to put the ball in the basket.
What has been the biggest benefit for your team this week of preparation?
Well, I think a number of things. The first is it gave us some time to rest. These guys needed it. We have played so many games in a very short period of time, several of them on the road where the travel was, I think, a factor. In addition to that, we were able to introduce things about the University of North Carolina on Monday and Tuesday, which allowed us then to practice yesterday and now again today in preparation for the game. So it just made game preparation a little bit keener.
What has it been like? You talk so much about 7 guys in games, but practice-wise, intensity, have you tried to scale back a little bit, not necessarily this week in general, and maybe moving forward, is it still been the same as recent years?
When it comes to practice, there are 3 things that are always taken into consideration: frequency, duration, and intensity. Frequency, how often you practice. Duration, how long you practice in a given day. And intensity, how hard you're going to practice. Our intensity is based on specific drills. So like a shooting drill is not considered a high-intensity drill. But any defensive drill is considered high in intensity and very, very competitive. So we try to organize it such that there's skill development and high intensity, and then the duration of practice is impacted by how close to game time. So like today's practice will be the shortest of the week. Tuesday's practice with a day off on Wednesday was the longest of the week. So we practiced Monday, introduced the things we wanted to prepare for Carolina. Monday, I'm sorry, did I say Tuesday or Monday? Monday, and then Tuesday we reviewed that with high intensity level. Wednesday we took time off, and then Thursday we were back at it, but for a shorter period of time, and today will be maybe an hour and 15 minutes. That'll be the shortest practice of the week.
Coach, the last 2 years you've had some success against Carolina like you've had your entire career since you've been at Miami, but the crowd played a part, it seemed like 2 years ago. What are you expecting for tomorrow from the fans?
Oh, we're expecting a great crowd, and I'm expecting them to be early, the students to be here, the band to be here. You know, we went a couple of games, several games, without having a band or students, and that really does impact the outcome of the game, because when you get it going and you get on a rally, the students and the band help lift you, and you're able to sustain it a little bit longer. When they're not here, you might have a brief run, but you don't sustain it as long because there's not that genuine electricity in the arena like you get when the crowd is on hand. And we're expecting a great crowd tomorrow.